Today we come to you from the Eccles Football Complex on the University of Utah campus where final preparations are underway for the annual spring game. It'll be great to see fans in Rice-Eccles Stadium once again, and we are ready to get you ready for some football on this Friday with our final virtual huddle of the year. Along with Kevin Stoker of U Alumni Relations, I'm Mike Lagashow from Utah Athletics, and Kevin, you're a Utah graduate. You've been on this campus for a long time. We know how much our fans love football. I'm so excited for them to be able to go to watch football in person. Around 7,000 will be there tomorrow at Rice-Eccles Stadium.
I can't wait to have a live show in the stadium with other fans. It's going to be different without the Muss game and the alumni flag football games. I've always liked that as well. But to be in the stadium with other fans, I can't wait.
All right, well, we'll get you ready for some football. As I said, Kyle Whittingham will drop by in the show to preview the spring game as well as look back on the spring season and look ahead to fall for a little bit. Also, Fredrik, Landstedt, head coach of the National Champion Youth, will drop by the show to talk about skiing.
Yeah, and speaking of skiing, our Superfan this time is a big ski fan. She's helped out all over, so we'll get to meet her. And then all over campus, there's departments trying to connect with students and enhance their experience with mentor programs. So we're going to take a look at one of those programs.
All right, some good stuff on Barbara Yamada and the Ute Academy. Also, we will get an update on the Ken Garff Performance Zone project at Rice-Eccles Stadium, and also a look back at our best highlights from the 2021 year. But Kevin, as we talked about with skiing, Barbara Yamada, when the skiing team won the championship, she had to be one of the happiest fans.
It definitely brought a smile to her face. So let's go ahead and meet our Superfan.
All right, well, welcome. We're joined by Barbara Yamada. She's been a volunteer at the U with the ski team and a great Utah fan. So welcome, Barbara. Thanks for being our super fan this week.
Oh, thank you for asking.
So I know you've been involved a lot with the U. Has it mostly been the ski team?
No, it's really started out with football and gymnastics and ski team. So it's been several sports.
A little bit of everything. That's great.
Yes.
Who's your favorite past athlete?
Oh, my goodness. That's a tough question. It's the entire ski team.
All of them. That's great. How about a favorite past game or meet?
You know, as far as football goes, I think the game with Scott Mitchell beating BYU back in the day, that was a great football game. With the ski team, being able to be with them when the NCAA meets are in the West, those have been the highlights. Steamboat Springs, Bozeman. Last year, the Bozeman NCAA meet that was cut in half. That's one that we'll never forget.
So how about a favorite Utah tradition?
Oh, I think the most recent one would have to be the Muss, that they are amazing group of young people to be at the football games and make a difference.
They definitely bring a lot of energy to the stadium, and
yeah, absolutely.
The atmosphere, it helps create a fun atmosphere for everybody.
Yes, and that's something that you were very instrumental in getting started too.
Yeah, definitely was involved in it, and it's been fun to see it grow. So how about a favorite highlight as a fan?
Oh my goodness. I would have to say winning the NCAA championships with the ski team.
So those are 3 in a row, but yeah. I guess 2 with the break in between isn't bad.
Right, exactly.
Well, Barbara, thank you so much for all you do for the U and your support. And you definitely deserve being this super fan.
Thank you.
And go Utes.
Go Utes.
That's a great story. Barbara Yamada's been the team mom, Fredrik, of the skiing program for a long time. I know you've gotten to know her, and what a great woman.
For sure. Yeah, I've known her for a long time. Actually, I knew Barbara a little bit before I even came to Utah, and I mean, she helps organize all our meets up on the mountain and all our activities, and she really takes care of the student athletes as well. So it's amazing to have her.
We're excited to be joined by Fredrik Landstedt, the head coach of the Utah skiing program, who led this team to a national championship about 6 weeks ago. And Fredrik, what a great start to your career. I mean, you've been here 3 years. A year ago, the championship's canceled. You've won 2 and 2 when you had a chance to compete. But let's talk about that event last year in 2020. You guys were halfway through the championships, and the NCAA said, we're done. We're shutting it down. Otherwise, it's 3 for 3. Just talk about how maybe that stung a little bit and maybe served as sort of a motivational point and a starting point for the run you had in 2021.
Yeah, I mean, we had a great year last year.
Yeah.
We won every meet except for the regional championship, and we came into NCAAs, and we wanted to defend our title. And when we returned home from the Nordic meet back to our cabin, we got the news that it was canceled, and you know, that was a big letdown, of course, for the team, especially for the seniors.
Right.
And the seniors, they maybe didn't have their best race the first day. They wanted to come back for another competition and really finish it off. You know, on the positive note, and of course they were all done, so that was tough for sure.
Yeah, but this group came back in part and won the championship this year. Let's talk about Sydney Palmer Ledger, native of Park City, won both the women's NCAA titles in Nordic. I mean, it's hard to win one, let alone two. What a dominant performance. Just talk about what made her have such a special season for you.
Yeah, I mean, Sydney was amazing all year, really, and to have a freshman coming in, a true freshman from Park City.
Yeah.
We knew she was a very good skier, of course, but to come in as a freshman and do what she did is just amazing. And she's a junior, and she's on the U.S. ski team, and she went over to Finland to compete in the Junior World Championship in early February. And when she and her teammate Novi McCabe, that's also a freshman for the youth, when they came over there, they found out they'd been exposed by another person on the U.S. team.
Yeah.
So they both had to quarantine for 10 days over in Finland, so they could not compete a single race at the Junior World Championship. So, you know, when they came back to Utah again after that, they were ready to go. They handled that very well. You know, they both came back, and Sydney, you know, really came through at NCAAs and had their best two races of the year.
Yeah, dominant performance again, won both the women's Nordic titles, but your entire Nordic squad was a dominant group all year. They won every portion of their race throughout the entire season. The women's team captured 5 of the 6 podium spots in NCAAs. That's another feat that's hard to do. And also, in addition to Sydney Palmer Ledger, Julia Richter was the national champion in Nordic back in 2019. She was in that group as well. The men's team had 3 in the top 10 of the 10K Classic events. So really, again, Nordic, a dominant group that was a big part of your championship run. Just talk about that group of people and their season and how they were so successful.
Yeah, that was an amazing group, and we didn't only have the athletes that actually went to NCAAs, because we can only bring 3 men, 3 women.
Right.
And you know, we qualified everyone on the team, 6 women and 5 men for the championship. And you know, in our region in the West here, we had 5 women ranked top 6 in the region, so they were dominating all year. And even when Sydney and Novi, who were both, you know, on the podium, both raced NCAAs, when they were missing, when we went to Finland, we had a meet in Aspen, and our girls still won the meet, and they went 1, 2, 3 in one race. And it was just amazing performance all year. And the guys too. I mean, Sam Hendry, I think he was pretty much top 3 every race he competed this year. Luke Jagge came along and had an amazing race at NCAAs, finishing 2nd. And Björn Riksåsen as a senior this year, I mean, he had his best year so far and was All-American in both races over there.
Let's talk about your Alpine group. They were a big part of it as well. You had 3 in the top 10 in the Giant Slalom. Unfortunately, a couple of races did not finish in the Slalom, but otherwise your margin of victory would have been even bigger on the final days. But just talk about your Alpine group and their part in your championship run.
Yeah, no, we have a very strong Alpine team, and it's NCAAs is tough. It's a total different deal when you go over there. But at the championship, you only bring 3 and everybody counts. So when Nordic does so well and we're in the lead, it puts even more pressure on our Alpine skiers, and they have to get down to score any points. If they ski out, if anything can happen, they score 0. So for them knowing that, you know, they can try to hold back a little bit. But you're talking about holding back, maybe skiing a second slower in a 50-second race.
Right.
It's not easy to do. You know, you hold back a little too much, you change the way you ski, and then you can hook a gate because of that. I mean, they have speeds up to, you know, 40, 50 miles an hour sometimes.
Wow.
And to get around those gates and get down is very tough. So really, when you're in a team like ours, it makes it a lot harder for the Alpiners. You know, some of our competitors that ski for teams to maybe placing farther back at the championship, they can go for it, and for them skiing out doesn't matter so much.
Right.
But for our guys, they have that added pressure.
Like you said, almost easier if you're behind on a team trying to catch up. You can kind of just let it go and happen. But for your guys, that second day of Alpine, that's when you had the issues. And again, it's hard to gear it back for guys at that level. But still, they were a big part of your championship run. Let's talk about Miles Havlick, a Utah alum, been around the program a long time. He was named the RMISA Nordic Coach of the Year. So happy for him. What's made him so successful and such a big part of your program since you took over?
Yeah, I mean, I hired Miles for the program, and you know, I knew about Miles since before when I was coaching in New Mexico. Obviously, he was a couple-time NCAA champion, and he skied 4 years for the Utes.
Yep.
He was really broke through already as a freshman for the Utes.
Yeah.
So I knew quite a bit about him, and he had very good recommendations as far as being a coach and you know, how he would perform as a coach. And he's done just an amazing job. I mean, he sets up the training program, so it takes a huge load off me because I'm used to having to run the Nordic program myself, and Miles now taking on a lot of that is just incredible. And he's, you know, he's good at pretty much everything in Nordic. He's very good at putting together programs. He communicates well with the athletes, and he's very good doing vaccine skis and testing. So we work very well together. I think that's you know, that's what really helps to make the Nordic team so strong. So Miles is a huge asset for sure. You
guys have been a great combination. Again, Nordic has been strong in the entire time you've been here. This is your third year. Let's talk about, you know, just the struggles of this year, the COVID-19 protocols and testing. You go to championships, and if you have some tests that come positive, you got to have some people sit out, and then there's contact tracing. It could have been disastrous had some things gone against you in terms of testing, but you survived that. You got through the year in good shape, no major issues. To deal with everything you did deal with, plus win in the end, with all the pressure being the team to beat all year long, how satisfying was it to put your hands on that trophy at the end of the championships back in March?
Oh, I mean, that was yeah, that was quite a relief, I would say.
Yeah.
You're almost like you're happy it's over when you're done, because we went from you know, October through March, traveling, going to training camp, skiing, going to competitions, and we didn't have a single positive case on our team, on the athletes or the coaches throughout all those months of skiing, traveling, competing. And it was very stressful. We came to NCAAs, and the first thing you do the morning after you get there, everybody's tested.
Yep.
You know, right away. And if one person is positive, you lose the championship. So, you know, even that first day, we actually had a false positive on one of our coaches.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, so you take the rapid test, and one person came out positive.
Oh.
And just the stress on the team and the coaches having to wait almost an hour for the regular test to come back, and that was negative. So it was all good in the end, but just that stress, knowing that if that stayed positive, you'd be done.
Yeah.
To pull it off and win it, that was just you know, amazing feeling and incredible work by the athletes and the coaches this year.
Well, a great run by your team again. It could be 3-3 for you. Had last year's championships in 2020 been allowed to finish. Let's look ahead quickly to next year in terms of, you know, people coming back. You know, it might be early, but how's the squad look for next year in 2022?
It's looking good again. I mean, it's always a new year. We lose a few on the Nordic side, lose 2 of the women and 1 of the men.
Okay.
Nordic side, we lose you know, a couple of people on the Alpine side, but the majority of the team coming back, and I think pretty much everyone that went to NCAAs are coming back, so that's a good thing.
That's a good thing. That's a
all
good place to
Nordics
start.
Over there, so that's great.
Yeah.
And then you know, we've been recruiting all year, and we got some good recruits coming in that hopefully can challenge for spots for next year. And then, you know, in 2022 it's here in Utah, so we have NCAAs in Park City and Soldier Hollow. So we're hoping, of course, to win another one.
Well, sounds great. You'll be on your home snow to do it and have a chance to do it. So, hey, again, great start. 3 years for you, 2 titles and 2 chances, and thanks for joining us. Fredrik Landstedt, Director of Skiing for the Utes. Kevin, over to you.
In an effort to enhance the student experience, many departments on campus and U Alumni are connecting alumni and donors with students. You can sign up on the alumni website to be a mentor and help students. There's also a department on campus with athletics, the Ute Academy. And let's find out a little bit more about that with Ashley Lear.
Okay, well, hello, everyone. This is Glenn Seninger with the U Alumni Board of Governors, and we're here today with Ashley Lear. And Ashley is the Director of Student Athletics Development and the Ute Academy, and she's joining me today to answer a few questions about her role and a little bit about the Ute Academy. So, Ashley, thanks for joining and appreciate you taking the time. So tell those watching a little bit about the Ute Academy. Tell us a little bit about it.
Sure. Thanks so much, Glenn, for having me. Yeah, the Ute Academy is our student athlete development program. We launched it in fall 2019, and it has 4 pillars, and we have different requirements for student athletes to participate. We have a career and professional development pillar, leadership development, personal development, and community service.
Excellent. And obviously, one of the big pieces involved with your role in the academy is ensuring, student athlete success. And one of those pieces, as I understand it, is mentoring. How does mentoring take place within the Ute Academy? Can you explain how that program works a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So our mentoring piece falls in our career and professional development pillar. And we really wanted to help our student athletes build connections with boosters and former student athletes in the community. So we have a platform, NX Athlete, that we use for our career and mentor piece. And so we built that out with them this spring, and we've used that platform to match former student athletes who are members of our varsity club with our current student athletes. And we've used that and used kind of their career interests and hobbies that they have in common to find a good match.
So if I was a former Utah athlete and I wanted to get involved, can you kind of describe some of the benefits that they get out of being a mentor, or what they're expected to do?
Yeah, sure. And the reason we kind of targeted our varsity club is we'd met with the exec board there, and they had mentioned they really want to have a meaningful connection with student athletes and get to know some of the current student athletes. And so we launched this program with that feedback in mind. And we have good communication with them. Our staff who oversees our Crimson Club and Varsity Club sends out a newsletter, and they include Ute Academy information. So we're always accessible to our former student athletes via that email from our Varsity Club.
So do you have any examples, maybe some, I don't know, any stories you could share about where former athletes got involved and some of the benefits that current student athletes saw from it?
Yeah, and like I said, we just launched this program about a month ago, so it's fairly new, but I've already had several members of the Varsity Club reach out and say, hey, thanks so much for setting this up. We've been wanting to find ways to get involved, and they're really excited about mentoring. We've asked them, they connect just about once a month. So again, we didn't want to make it too much for anyone, but we will follow up at the end of the semester and then continue those mentorship relationships. But we have had some feedback from some of our Varsity Club members that they're just really excited to participate and excited to get to know some of their student athletes in maybe a sport that they've never come to an event to at the U, and then hopefully they might attend one of those events as they get to know these student athletes.
I think it's great because, across the university, across, the entire campus, mentoring goes on not only in the academic world, but in other areas. And I think it's great to see this, athletics giving back and reaching out to not only former student athletes, but to benefit those that are still in the program. So I think it's a great way to give back. If I was wanting to get involved, how would I reach out to you, or how would we get in contact to get involved if we were a former student athlete and wanted to get engaged?
Yeah, sure. Like I said, we welcome any employers, student athletes, former student athletes to reach out to us. We have a Ute Academy email. It's uteacademy@utah.edu. And we love it when people reach out and we can get them involved, not only in mentoring, but then we have a lot of other opportunities with employer visits, network events we do for our student athletes. And like I said, our motto for the Ute Academy is building champions in life. So we really want to provide opportunities for our current student athletes to connect with employers and people in the community so they can start thinking about their steps after their athletic career ends.
Yeah, that's exciting. Well, Ashley, thanks for your leadership and thanks for putting this together. I think it's going to pay dividends down the road. And as we look at mentoring, not only within athletics, but across the university as a whole, it's just a great way to give back. So we appreciate your time on behalf of the U Alumni Board of Governors, and appreciate you taking the time. And as we always do, go Utes.
Go Utes. Thanks so much, Glenn. Appreciate it.
Well, that's a great program to mentor student athletes. Thanks to Ashley Lear and Glenn Senator for dropping by the show. We are not too far away from Rice-Eccles Stadium. The Ken Garff Performance Zone is moving along nicely. It's almost enclosed. With an update, here's Jordan Urrutia with Lathan Construction for an update on the very productive spring.
One of our big pushes right now is to get the building fully enclosed. So you'll see our framer going on all of the exterior walls. You'll see our roof being installed. We've got glass going in a few locations. If you were up on the concourse, you'd see some of our framing and insulation going in for the metal panels. And and shortly we should be seeing some brick veneer going up. With all those finishes going in, it really kind of releases the interior spaces to get going on some finishes. If you were to walk into the home team locker room right now, you'd see fully drywalled spaces, which is really cool. If you were to walk into those bathrooms or the locker rooms, you'll see painted walls and tile going in, which is a huge plus for us. So we're prepping on the exterior, specifically down on the field for a few of the events coming up, like Supercross and the April 17th spring football game, the scrimmage. So we're trying to get ready, getting all of our material off the field, all of our equipment off the field, and then we'll pull up in that field protection, clean it all up so you guys are ready for that game on the 17th. So everything we just talked about kind of leads up and wraps it up to get us into those finishing details on the interior as well as on the exterior.
And limited inventory remains. For more information, call the number on your screen or log on to KenGarffPerformanceZone.com. Well, we're pleased to be joined now by the head coach of the Utah football program, Kyle Whittingham, stepping by to join us on the virtual huddle. Thanks for joining us, Kyle.
You bet, Mike. Happy to be here.
That's been quite a run for you, 134 wins, 14 bowl games in 16 years, but you're ready now for your 17th season. Spring ball wrapping up this week. How's spring been for your program?
It was a good spring. It was great to get back on the field. You know, last spring we got cut short. And so to be able to get all the practices in and work with the guys for the the entire 15 sessions was awesome, and made a lot of progress. Got a ton of people out for spring. Typically, spring roster is about 80, maybe 90 guys. We had 125 guys out for this spring.
Wow!
Due to the COVID, the eligibility issues with COVID and having guys get extra years, that really backed things up, and so we needed every rep that was available to us, and we got a lot done.
Let's break down your team here a little bit. Kyle, on defense, first of all, 4 guys who were all Pac-12 last year are back, including All-American linebacker Devin Lloyd, Mika Tafu, one of your captains back there as well. Talk about your defense and how that group is shaping up.
Shaping up well. We've got a talented group up front, like most years, and it's headlined by Mika at the defensive end spot. I'm going to say we got probably 10 bodies up front that we feel can help us win football games. Linebackers, Devin Lloyd is the leader of that group. We're excited about what he's going to bring to the table this year. Had a terrific junior season. Nephi Sewell had a productive year last year. He's back. And then we've added 4 or 5 really talented freshman linebackers, so that group should be well stocked. Secondary was all brand new last year.
Yeah.
The 5 games they were able to play and get under their belt was invaluable for their progress and their development. And so we hope that we can pick up this fall where we left off last year and be even better.
Let's go to the side of the ball. 4 all Pac-12 guys back on offense as well, including Nick Ford, one of your veteran linemen. Britton Covey back again. This guy's been around forever, the mayor of the program, and also Brant Keithy, your tight end. Talk about your offense a little bit.
Yeah, we feel it starts up front, and we feel very strongly that we've got an outstanding group of offensive linemen. Nick Ford, as you mentioned, should be an all Pac-12 performer. He's moving from tackle inside to center full time. You saw him play there towards the end of last season, and that's where he's going to be a fixture this year. Tight end position is absolutely stocked with Brant Keithy and Cole Fotheringham, Dalton Kincaid, among others.
Yeah.
Quarterback, it's going to be a battle. Charlie Brewer and Cam Rising look like they're going to be the 2 guys that are in the hunt for the starting job, although one of these freshmen may emerge. We'll see what happens there. Running back, a whole new look. Mekhi Bernard, TJ Pledger, and Chris Curry are the 3 guys that are vying for the playing time there. And then the wide receivers, it's going to be interesting to see who steps up. We need 2 or 3 guys to step up at wide receiver to round out that group. That would include Britton Covey, who's a proven commodity, and Solomon Enos. Devon Vele is a guy we're really excited about. Jalen Dixon, to have him back is good for us. So that position group is maybe the biggest question mark on the team right now as to who's going to emerge and who's going to actually be those 5, 6, 7 guys that really contribute.
Everyone wants to know about the quarterbacks, coach. You know how it works.
Yeah.
Cam Rising got some time last year, then went out with a shoulder. And Charlie Brewer, the transfer from Baylor, you've been pretty positive about him, and in terms of your conversations with the media, you seem to like him. Just talk a little bit more about those 2 and their tangibles for Rising and Brewer going into the fall.
Okay, we'll start with Cam. He, as everyone knows, won the job last year. Unfortunately got hurt in the first game, and it was a significant injury. Was not able to participate in spring ball at all. Charlie Brewer has had a terrific spring, And what he did at Baylor speaks for itself. Nearly 10,000 yards throwing the football, and won a bunch of games there. So those two guys are really going to be battling this fall. And like I said, we've got 4 freshmen in the group that are really showing promise. We feel good about the room and the players that we've got at that position.
We have a lot of alumni watching the show today. A tragic loss to your program when Ty Jordan passed away last December. I know there's been a scholarship fund started in his name. You have some information on the screen to log on and donate. You and your wife, Jamie, made a significant contribution early. I know some people are interested in donating and being a part of that. Can you just talk about Ty and what he meant to this program and made him so special and such a tough loss for all of us?
Absolutely tragic. There hasn't been a day go by that I haven't thought about him during the course of the day, and usually several times, and just a terrific young man, great personality, one of those guys that comes into a room and just lights up the room. Of course, had a terrific year, ended up, I think he was the best freshman back in the country last year, and certainly the best in the Pac-12. And we're going to miss him on so many different levels. We're doing everything we can to keep his memory alive, and the scholarship is one of the main things that we got going, and it's going to be awarded each fall. You don't know yet who it is. We'll decide that through fall camp, who is going to be the recipient of the scholarship in each particular season.
Yeah, people always want to find a way to help and contribute and be a part of something, and that scholarship fund is a great way for people who want to donate. Great way to do that. Coach, let's look forward to fall a little bit. Before we came out, we had a video on the Ken Garff Performance Zone project across the way at Rice-Eccles. It's almost enclosed in terms of the structure. This is a huge deal for your program, for recruiting, for a new team locker room, some great spaces for the fans. Let's talk about what the completion of this project will do for your football program.
Oh, it's incredible. We were in there for a scrimmage this past week, first time this spring, and it's a whole different feel in that stadium. With that thing closed in, it's like a different stadium. I mean, it's not even anywhere near what it's been in the past. It's been very good in the past. I mean, it's been one of the best stadiums in the Pac-12 and in the country as far as selling out and fan support and noise level. But it's going to be a game changer for us and recruiting and our players and something that is long overdue, I guess you could say. We've been hoping for a lot of years for something like that. And thank you very much to the Garffs for stepping up and making it a reality. And it's going to be just a terrific environment, and we're hoping, fingers crossed, that we can have the go-ahead to fill that place this fall. That might be a little optimistic, but that would be great if we could be at full capacity.
Yeah, it's so much more than just seats. It's really a building, a structure with so many amenities for fans and players, and $84 million project, getting the Garff family stepping in, and it's been huge for the program, and we're excited to see it done here in a few months. Speaking of next season, Kyle, 6 home games for the Utes in 2021. Weber State gets it started September 2nd. Jay Hill and the crew comes down to they won the Big Sky this past year, but also Oregon, Colorado come here in November. Should be a fun schedule. Your thoughts on how the Pac-12 shapes up in your home schedule coming up this fall?
Yeah, it always is a great schedule, and when you're in the Pac-12 and you got great home games every year and something for the fans that to get really excited about, and competing for that, first of all the South Championship, and then hoping to try to win the entire Pac-12. I mean, it's just a great situation for our university, for our fans, for our players, and there's not a bad home schedule in the Pac-12. It's good every year.
All right, tomorrow, Rice-Eccles, 7,000 fans allowed in. It'll be the largest crowd for a Utah home event in almost 13 months. I know it's been a long time for the fans. Couldn't be there in the fall, but you felt their support. But they'll be there in person Saturday. For you to walk out there Saturday and see the fans back in Rice-Eccles, what will that mean to you and the football team?
That's going to be great, and it was so odd last year playing in front of nobody. I mean, that was an odd experience, and it's like you're out at practice or having a scrimmage, that type of environment. But to have fans, even though it's going to be not a lot, it's going to be a good experience for our players and somewhat of a return to normalcy.
Yeah, well put. A sense of normalcy returns tomorrow. Kyle, thanks for the time. Appreciate you dropping by.
You bet. Thank you.
All right, that's Utah head coach Kyle Whittingham. Kevin, over to you.
Thanks, Mike. Even with all the issues of COVID-19, it's been a successful year for Utah athletics. Football had a winning record. Gymnastics won the regular season and Pac-12 championships. They're going to be competing in the NCAA championships this week. Utah volleyball has earned a number 14 seed and will be competing in the NCAA championships. And as mentioned earlier, ski won the national championship. So here's a closer look at some of the highlights from 2020 and 2021.
What a great year it's been. We want to salute Luke McDivitt from the diving program. He was named the Pac-12 Men's Diver of the Year. Molly O'Keefe from gymnastics was named the Pac-12 Gymnast of the Year. And Danny Drew was named the Volleyball Player of the Year in the Pac-12 this year. Those three had great years. What a great year for Utah Athletics, Kevin.
Some great accomplishments by the Utah teams and some individual stars as well. Well, it's time to get ready for some football.
Sure is. The Utah Spring game comes your way tomorrow. It is sold out at Rice-Eccles. If you can't get there, you can watch it on the Pac-12 networks or listen on ESPN 700. That will do it for us. For Kevin Stoker and the crew, I'm Mike Lagerschultz. Thanks for joining us. Until next time. So long, everybody.